Seeing as we recently hit the big 1000 subscriber milestone, this seemed like a good week to do something reminiscent of my first Girls Und Panzer video on this channel. Today, we'll be taking a close look at a short but extremely great and important scene from Das Finale Part 2, which again showcases Girls Und Panzer's unparalleled ability to get a lot of information across to the viewer through the visuals instead of relying heavily on expositional dialogue. Obviously, since this scene is from Das Finale, there may be some spoilers, though I don't think there will be too much of that here. In any case, as always, it's up to you if you prefer to watch the show first or risk some spoilers here. Now, onto the scene itself. The scene where we and Sayori meet Momo's family and learn a lot more about her isn't long. It clocks in at somewhere around 2 minutes, but in true Girls Und Panzer fashion, every bit of it is utilized effectively to get information across without relying heavily on dialogue. So first, we'll take a closer look at the scene itself, then discuss why this scene needed to be here, and why it's more important than it might seem at first glance. It's one that many viewers probably didn't think too much about upon first viewing, but as you look closer, you realize just how important it is. The scene begins with Sayori and Momo going to a copy shop to pick up stuff she needed for student council business. It had been mentioned earlier in Das Finale that Sayori would be taking Momo's place as the student council's PR representative, so this is Momo essentially helping train or mentor her for the job. So as is often the case in Girls Und Panzer, this scene is really doing double duty here. Their initial conversation here also re-emphasizes for us, in case we've forgotten from earlier in Girls Und Panzer, just how seriously Momo treats her student council job. Momo's also got a more old-school approach to doing things, and her line where she acknowledges that it's a lot of work, but that it needs to be done, really describes her character well. Dedicated to doing her best at her job, no matter how hard it is, and no matter the toll it takes on her. You can really see how the student council she was a part of managed to save the school not once, but twice. They really see it as a responsibility, and not a perk. Once they arrive at the building that houses not just the copy center, but also Momo's home, is where the scene really starts to tell us a lot by saying very little. The shot lingers on the somewhat dilapidated shop exterior long enough that we, like Sayori, start wondering about this place. And the show's creators trust us to note this enough that there's no need for Sayori to ask anything about this slightly sketchy place they've come to. Momo's terse interaction with the guy at the desk, who I've seen some people think is her father, although I'm not sure if there's any confirmation of that, and there's really nothing to indicate that here, apart from her family living behind the shop, also adds to our sense of unease. Again, Sayori is our avatar in this scene, which is why she apologizes to the grumpy-looking guy, who himself doesn't respond, further adding to the somewhat tense atmosphere. And that was all just to set up the rest of this scene, where in just over a minute's worth of time, we learn more about Momo and the depth of her character than we do about the protagonists of many shows, let alone supporting characters. And apart from the short exchange between Momo and her mom, the scene's remaining dialogue only serves to emphasize the information we're getting from the visuals, not to feed us information. We don't need Momo to explain in detail, or for Sayori to ask, about the family's financial situation, her mom's health, and all the work she has to do to help at home. Her mom's appearance and demeanor, the fact that the kids are excited to have bread slices for their meal, and Momo struggling to manage all 5 of her siblings, really tells us everything we need to know. All of this dialogue feels completely natural. Nothing feels forced in order to deliver info to us. Again, they're utilizing the animation medium perfectly. This is where we learn that not only has Momo been spending all of this time doing her regular student council duties, working to revive Senshiro to save the school, and to try then and ensure that the team stays strong after she graduates, but she's also been doing most of the work at home taking care of her siblings. It's no wonder her grades slipped. Sayori realizes this immediately. Her expression makes that clear. We didn't need her to say anything. A lot of other shows, which might not have had as much faith in their viewers to pick up on what's going on here, might have added more dialogue to the scene. You could also tell that Sayori now has even more respect for Momo than she did before, which is why in the next scene, she and the rest of the incoming student council members commit to trying even harder to ensure that they win, so that Momo has a chance of getting into university. See, Girls Und Panzer Das Finale had a bit of a problem from the outset, one many sports stories series face. The question of, what do you do now that you won the big game? The stakes in their film and the scale of its big battle were high enough that you really couldn't escalate it to something even bigger than that. No, threatening to close the school again would be the wrong choice. But at the same time, you need a reason to win beyond, it's a sport and we want to win. So, enter the goal of helping Momo get into college. While this is obviously a less impactful conflict in many respects than what we had previously, that's okay, since the story in Das Finale is less squarely focused on Miho and Ororai's team now. But that's something to get deeper into in another video. What our scene here in Das Finale Part 2 does is hammer home just how important it is that Ororai wins to help Momo. This is achieved in 2 ways at once. First, we see a totally different side of her here, one that makes us care more about her and her future. Previously, she'd always been seen as a rather tightly wound person, prone to emotional outbursts, and a bit of a meme with her always missing shots. She's the type of girl who's always trying to put on a cool, collected face, but is much more emotional beneath the surface, and who lets that emotion show when she gets stressed. It also explains why she pushed the team so hard to win. If the school had closed, not only would she have lost the school and the friends she loved, but it would have taken from her family what little they had. It forces you to see Momo in a very different way, if you rewatch Season 1 after watching Das finale. Also in this scene, we see Momo with her guard completely down among people she loves. Yeah, her somewhat commanding personality is still there, but her demeanor is completely different when she's dealing with her siblings and her mother. And let's be honest, you need to have some authority when dealing with multiple younger siblings. Additionally, the fact that she lets Sayori see this shows how comfortable she has become with her teammate and incoming replacement. So it's another example of Girls und Panzer very subtly showing character development. The second thing this scene does is really hammers home why it's important that Momo gets into university. A university education will go a long way to helping her find a good job, through which she can better support her family and improve their living conditions. Not to mention possibly helping pay for whatever medical treatment her mom might need. So now we know that we're not just trying to win to keep her from being embarrassed by not getting into university. This scholarship can make her future. The future of an important character who we liked before, but understand much better now and care about much more. And it's all done within the span of 2 minutes, without needing to stop or really even slow down things to explain what's going on. It's all right there in front of us. Girls und Panzer clearly hasn't lost any of its incredible storytelling ability as the series has gone on. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support me and what I do here, check out the links to my books and light novels below. A link to my Patreon is down there in the description as well. I've recently started sharing awesome updates, including completed pages from my upcoming manga, Amaranth Angels, over there. I've also got cool merch over on TeePublic. And of course, if you have any thoughts on this video, anything else about this scene you wanted to mention, or aspects of Girls und Panzer you'd like me to talk about, definitely share them below in the comments. I love to hear them, and I do my best to respond to all the comments eventually. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future updates. That's all for now, so until next time.